welcome to an issue number 53 for January 1st, 2014. As you can see, we have a lot of holiday stuff going on. Some people are busy. So we are making full circle all the way back around to where we started with Scott and I hosting this issue. So why don't we start off right off the bat with Dead Boy Detectives from Vertigo Comics.
All right, Dead Boy Detectives from Vertigo. From the pages of The Sandman.
Echo would have liked this.
Yeah, not something suited to me.
Okay.
I don't particularly care for it. There's running dialogue with many characters in it, all telling the same type of a story that all lead you to where the story kind of conjoins. It can be along the lines of maybe The Watchmen in a way, how it plays out, how it reads. At first it's a little confusing, and you finally get into it. Obviously you have the two dead boy detectives that are following around this girl whose parents are big-time performance artists. They get her involved in this performance, in which case a painting is stolen and she gets hurt and basically dies. She notices these two dead guys, but nobody else does. So they're kind of her guardian angels, and as it wraps up, and she ends up going to a new school, which is where the two dead detectives were killed.
Okay.
So that's how it leads off. So
how are the characters in it?
The characters were fine.
You get different points of views.
Yeah, I have no problem with it. With that, it's just, once again, it's not something that's suited to my taste.
Stylized.
Yeah. Artwork's fine. Nothing that blows you away. It's just it kind of vacillates back and forth. There's a couple of different styles in the book to separate the characters.
Okay. Did the story come together at least at the end?
It did. It did. You got an idea. It was a little fragmented at first.
How long did it take before you got it?
Just a couple pages into it where I started to understand where they were going with it all, and then by the time they got to the end, they had
wrapped it.
Yeah, so you weren't left hanging.
Okay, that's good to hear. The next one we have is from Dynamite Comics. This is Legenderry, a Steampunk Adventure. This is from the same writer as Fables, so writing-wise, it's really well done. It is a little heavy on the text to begin with. A lot of like a radio host guy, and just goes on a little too long. The artwork is really solid, nothing outstanding, but really solid, really nice. Basically, it's a steampunk version. If you're not familiar, it's more of a Victorian with futuristic, like electricity, cars, flying machines, stuff like that, but set in Victorian style. And in this case, we see a few of our well-known heroes. So Britt Reed, maybe not as well known, but also Vampirella. So obviously most people will recognize that name at least. And we are teased that the next issue will have a Victorian Kato and Green Hornet. So they're getting together a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen kind of thing going on. You get the vampire, you got the action hero, you got the veteran, so
the whole kind of Dynamite roster.
Yeah. But in a Victorian style, wrapped all up in a Victorian steampunk adventure. So, it's really interesting. They set up a little mystery. They have a good amount of action. A woman is running from assailants, and they happen upon the nightclub that Vampirella, in this case, runs. And she comes to her rescue in a most valiant and violent manner. So I liked it. Good action. I am a little partial to steampunk as a culture, so it's interesting. I like the art style. I like some of the visuals that steampunk brings. So I'm interested to see where they go on this, especially with Green Hornet and Kato coming up next.
All right, sounds good. Next on my list, well, let's see. I'm going to go with Sinister Dexter from IDW.
Okay.
Sinister Dexter, interesting story. Kind of... it's two guys, one's Sinister, one's Dexter.
Makes sense.
As opposed to everybody thinking it's from the TV show, it has nothing to do with the TV show. It takes place in the future. These two guys are world-class hitmen, big reputations. And in the future, everything is city-states. No more of these countries. Europe is all one city-state, Southeast Asia, so on and so forth. Anyway, they go on this vacation to Southeast Asia. When they get there, they tell everybody that, hey, we're hitmen, here are our guns. They get in through the borders, we're here on vacation. And it turns out the person that is in charge of the city-state that they go to basically wants to kill them. Or he's afraid that they're there to kill him, So he
wow.
sends out...
You get hitmen visiting your country.
You never know. And so he sends out his own hit people, who it turns out have some very close relations with Sinister and Dexter.
Okay.
So it brings it's a nice story.
So is it an action? Is it a comedy? It almost sounds like they're setting up like a little bit of humor.
It's definitely a little bit of both, and a lot of the especially the one character, Sinister, he has a very Cockney type of a
accent.
Okay. If you bring it out of there, and so it's in the future. They when they get into the cabs, you can tell the cabbie what language you want, and it's all this Cockney slang and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's kind of neat. Artwork was decent. I enjoyed it. I'll definitely pick up the next issue to see where it goes with it, and definitely
it's one to look out for.
Yeah, it's an interesting read.
Okay.
Cool. Gives you something a little bit different.
That's cool. The next one we have is not for the kiddos. Keep this away in all manner, but you can tell that from the cover. This is Sin Boldly. Obviously, keep that away from the kids. And this is from Image Comics. As the cover and as the writer from Linsner, you can probably tell. It's actually two stories broken into one. So the first story is all black and white, very adult. And it's a short story basically telling about a deal with a demon that went wrong, an artist and a con artist and so forth, and things don't turn out the way that the person making the deal nor the demon actually expect. So it's interesting. The artwork, black and white, well done, very well done. I would say that I don't particularly think that her being in that manner addressed the whole time was really necessary, but whatever. You do see her, she can get dressed, so, but amazingly. The second story actually caught my eye a little bit better. This is Obsidian Stone, and it's more of a futuristic, in the future we went into a second Dark Age, and now we're coming back into a second Renaissance, and the Church of New York has put some limitations on some technologies, so guns and those kind of weapons are outlawed. They do have like flying machines and so forth, but it's really action-packed, and there is a chainsaw sword.
Nice.
So I want that chainsaw sword. Like I said, second story caught my eye a little bit better.
All right, and of course, anybody that knows Joseph Michael Linsner,
yeah,
I mean, does not.
You know what to expect.
Yeah, the artwork is tremendous. All right, last on my list, and this is actually the book.
This one caught my eye.
This one I like the best of the ones I've reviewed tonight, and this is Revelations from Boom Studios. This is basically the story of a detective who is retired from Scotland Yard, and anti-God, anti-everything. Kind of reminds you in a way maybe of John Constantine. Okay, chain-smoking kind of a guy, loner. So something happens at the Vatican, and one of the priests from the Vatican comes and visits him and drags him back. And of course, when it concerns the Vatican and things are hidden and obfuscated, and and all the other priests are, they have their own little secret police force, and nothing was done right according to him, and so something bad has happened, and he's going to try to figure it out, and he literally just goes at each and every one of them. Some of the language is a little bit coarse in this, so it might not be appropriate for younger people. He pretty much names each individual person at the Vatican that he sees with an anatomy part.
Interesting.
So, yeah, he is a ex-detective, kind of not a drunk, not that we can tell, chain smoker for sure. Abrasive, but it's very interesting art style in this book. I liked it a lot. It's much different from anything I've read recently. So I highly am looking forward to the second issue of that.
Yeah, and it's issue 1 of 6, so I like short series, because at least then you know it's going to be able to be consumed in 6 issues in this case, and you're not going to have to wait and see, and they might extend it out, keep going, and stuff like that. So I like shorter series like that.
I would definitely say I would definitely pick this one up.
Pick of the week. So.
Absolutely, for me.
Okay, very cool. Thank you. All right. And as we said, holiday season being what it is, everyone's kind of busy. But we will be back in full force next week. And we also have an announcement for next week coming up, so be sure to check that out. This was a little bit short of an episode, but everyone should enjoy their New Year's and celebration in a safe manner.
Yeah, and I'm sorry I'm not the girls, everybody.
We are both sorry we are not girls.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
So, because we all know what you're not here to see us. So, but hope you enjoyed it at least and saw some interesting comics, and let us know if any of these appealed to you. And there are a number of comics out this week as opposed to last week where there was like a dozen.
Yeah.
If that.
If that, yeah.
So, alright, thank you very much, and we will be back in full force next week with a special announcement, hopefully with all the girls and the full cast. Alright, thank you, and we will see you next week.
See you.